Hey everyone! Welcome to Mellow Movie Reviews, where we mellowly review movies. So, I want to start with a little bit of a movie news.
Oh, before, can I just say that when I went to go see Birds of Prey, I saw the trailer for that Saw movie, and it actually low-key looks good.
Mm-hmm.
We should see that together.
I agree. Did I tell you? I was like, just wait for it. Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Rock.
I just saw Samuel L. Jackson, and I assumed it was one of those weird, like, split personality movies that he's in.
He's
Or
always
like a
in
weird
those.
Marvel movie, and then I was like, oh shit.
That's funny. Um, so the Oscars
Oh
were
man.
were this weekend. Catie, did you watch?
I did not.
I did not either.
I don't like award shows though. I don't watch them ever.
Yeah, you know, I think the last award show I watched fully was the VMAs with when Kanye got on stage and took Taylor's award away from her or something.
Never saw that.
I saw that live with my mom, and then right when that moment happened, a tree fell on our cable line and the screen went black, and I was like, "Oh my
That's
gosh, is MTV trying to cover this up?"
hilarious.
But Parasite won Best Picture, and everyone was very happy. The internet seemed greatly happy. I'm seeing it on Saturday, so I'm
gonna see
excited.
it now.
And Joaquin Phoenix won Best Actor for The Joker. And even though that movie, I really didn't vibe with it, I thought it was very stuffy, like, hee hee, we're gonna make a creative film about the Joker. Haha. He acted his butt off, so that was cool. Renee Zellweger won Best Actress for the film Judy.
Did not see that.
No. And Best Supporting Actress went to Laura Dern for her role in Marriage Story.
Also did not see that.
You know, I want to see it.
It's on Netflix, so I feel like I can see it whenever I want. I don't need, like, I want to see Parasite in theaters because I want that experience.
And then Best Supporting Actor went to Brad Pitt for his role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I also did not watch.
I also did not watch, and I low-key might watch it because I like that serial killer shit.
I also love Brad Pitt. I think he is very attractive.
I think he's turned into like America's hot dad.
But yeah, I'm seeing Parasite this weekend, and I'm seeing Jojo Rabbit this weekend on Saturday because I don't really have anything to do. So I'm just gonna check them out, see if I like them. Do we want to talk Suicide Squad?
I feel like we should begin chronologically because Suicide Squad appears a lot in Birds of Prey.
Okay, so this week, Catie and I watched Suicide Squad, which is a movie that came out in 2016, and we watched, one second, because
Birds of Prey?
yes, but they just changed the name of the film.
It's like Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey.
Yes, so originally, it was Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn, but what Catie just said, that's the title now.
I'm so glad they removed that second part.
Yeah.
That makes me take the movie like 1,000 times less seriously.
So, yeah. Okay, so we first watched Suicide Squad and then we saw Birds of Prey in the theater. So, Catie, I'm going to start with doing who plays who in Suicide Squad.
Good luck.
All right. So, this movie came out in 2016 and it was directed by David Ayer. This film stars Will Smith as Deadshot, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Jared Leto as the Joker, Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, Jay Hernandez as El Diablo, Adewale Akinmonye Abaje as Killer Croc, and Cara Delevingne as Dr. June Moon / The Enchantress. Okay, Katie, did you like this movie?
You know what? I'm actually gonna say yes.
No!
No, here's why. Because it's one of those movies. It's a shitty movie, but it's so fun to make fun of.
I have a history with this movie.
Okay.
So this came out in 2016. So earlier, have you seen the trailer for this movie at all?
Probably like when it was around. All I know is that it has that fucking 21 Pilots song in it.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow.
I hate it.
Well, the trailer, like, Katie, is amazing for this movie. And I watched that trailer over and over again. I even played the trailer music in my car that summer. I was so excited for this film to come out. And then I went to like a 10 a.m. showing. The theater was packed. And I was so sad because I built up this movie in my head for months. And for this to be the product really, really got me really just upset. I was generally like upset. And while watching the movie last weekend, I was so upset. But there is a history about how this film was cut. So, like, the editing is all over the place. Did you notice that?
How could you not?
Okay, it is chaos. This editing is chaos because the trailer that they put out, WB realized didn't match the tone for the movie they cut. So then they brought in the people who cut the trailer for them to make a second cut of the movie. And then they combined the original cut of the movie with the trailer cut of the movie and combined them together. And this is what was produced.
I know you can't see me right now, but just know that I just did one of those Jim Halpert look into the camera faces. Who pitched that idea? Who at WB was like, you know what? This is so big of a mess. We need to bring in new editors to redo what our old editors did. But then also, we're gonna Frankenstein that shit in. Yeah, that'll be a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a mess. And I was there were like film mistakes in this. There's one moment when the Joker is talking to Harley Quinn and he's not saying anything and his character has dialogue.
You know what? That is probably like the least obvious mistake in the entire movie.
I know, but that just really, I was like, this is a basic filmmaking. You know, and it came out in theaters, and it was in theaters.
Can I just say to that, this felt like a straight to VHS movie.
But, Katie, did you like anything about this movie? Because I like some parts. So we should talk about what we like first, and then just dive into what the monstrosity is. Yeah.
Okay, before I go into what I liked, when you started talking about your experience with the trailer, I now do remember that I did see the trailer. And I do remember being like, I feel like that's going to be a good movie. But then I waited until people saw it and everyone was like, it's shitty. So I'm glad I waited and now have seen it and just went in knowing it was going to suck.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had your experience because I was so happy.
It was a good experience.
Yeah.
You can go first, actually. My notes are literally just one stream of conscious because I used the dictaphone thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Okay, well,
Oh, Jam.
I so my what I liked about this movie was I loved Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I really liked the flashbacks of her and the Joker's relationship
Mm-hmm.
and thought they were like well shot and well done. Like you see how abusive he was. He like made her jump in acid and like tortured
That's the
her,
whole
like
thing.
put electric things to her brain. I don't know. It was scary. And I don't know. I just like seeing that relationship, how it started, but also this includes spoilers. So
Obvious. All of ours do. I feel like you come into that knowing this.
yes. And there is one part at the end where the enchantress like affects everyone's minds, and you see in Harley's mind what she wants is a normal life, and for the Joker not to be a Joker but like a normal person,
Yeah.
and to have babies. And that was like kind of a sad, it was sad, and I actually felt for her.
But I
um
feel like realistic for her situation. Like she's been through so much trauma, she just wants it to be over.
yeah, and I liked how that was illustrated. um I thought that was well done. And then Deadshot as Will Smith. Like, I love Will Smith. And I thought Will Smith and Margot Robbie had good chemistry. I feel like they were the only squad within the Suicide Squad.
That's fair. Yeah. I feel like one of the things I wrote down was that I enjoy seeing Will Smith in serious roles that are like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got range. Will Smith has the range.
Yes.
Um, but I fucking hated Deadshot.
Mm.
I think he did a fantastic job with the acting. This is nothing about Will Smith.
Yes,
I just
yes.
felt like Deadshot was such a like misogynist asshole that I like could not get past it. And I was like, I don't care if he dies. I know he's not gonna die, but I kind of hope he does.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that Will Smith was doing his best to make that
I
character
think
likable.
honestly, he and Margot Robbie, like I feel like every single one of the cast members was probably just trying their best, but it was only successful for Will Smith and Margot Robbie.
Yeah, I mean,
Jared Leto thought it was successful, but it was a mess.
just a straight mess. Okay. Catie, what did you like anything?
Um, I also loved Harley Quinn. I did write down though, and this is a direct quote: the face tattoos on Harley Quinn are a crime. And I stand by that statement. Margot Robbie is so pretty, and like they could have done a face tat, but it should have been like a small cute thing. Like maybe she's got one of those oh my god, harlequin heart things, or like a spade or something. And it's like I can't, it's word, but I can't remember what it is. And it's so big and it's so awkward.
I didn't even notice this tattoo. I
It was the
sorry.
first thing I saw when they did a close up of her face, and I
Oh
was like, no.
no. Yeah, Margot Robbie. She deserved Birds of Prey. Needless to
She
say.
she pitched it, didn't she?
Yeah, and she's one of the producers. Um. So can we like just start? I have so many notes. Of
Okay, can I start at the literal very beginning?
yes, yes, we'll do that.
Here's the thing. I love House of the Rising Sun.
Oh
And
god.
also all of those other songs that they used there. But I don't understand how every single one of the characters got their own like cliche rock song. And I just honestly, I was like surprised when Killer Croc's song wasn't Barracuda. I thought that would have been amazing. I hated the score of this movie, by the way.
Yeah, it was like
It was like there were pop songs and like rock songs, but then they had like its own musical score, and I was like, Listen, pick one,
It's
please.
it sounded like a Now CD that came out like
That's
20 years
exactly
ago.
what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I
Those
think
are.
the biggest song crime was Eminem.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I was like, oh no, no, no. We're going there? Really? Like, come on.
It really did that.
Oh wait,
Oh my
this
god.
is completely like doesn't have to do with anything, but I saw
Yeah.
Bad Boys for Life with Angela yesterday.
Oh my god.
It was really good.
So many of my students keep telling me to see that movie, and I'm like, I probably will, but
It's a good time. I laughed like very hard. Martin Lawrence is very funny, and so is Will Smith, obviously. But yeah,
Lord.
just a fun tidbit. Yes, this movie soundtrack was horrible, and it's I wouldn't be as annoyed if they like kept that Now CD going for the whole movie, but after
Yeah.
Eminem, it just stops, and then we get like the heroic music, and it's
Yeah.
yeah.
The only thing that I loved that the music worked in, and I cannot remember the scene, but I feel like it's when they're like strutting out as a team for the first time. They used Black Skinhead, I think.
Okay.
And I love that song. That's a great Kanye West song.
Mm.
And it felt like the mood of what was going on, and it fit the intensity of the moment. But that was one of the few things that went well in this movie.
So many few things. So I also want to talk about the beginning.
Yeah.
And the editing for this film is crazy. So we first meet Deadshot. We see Will Smith in his cell. And then we're introduced to Harley Quinn. And then Viola Davis like introduces all the characters. And then we get another introduction to Deadshot and Harley Quinn.
Yep.
Why didn't we I wish this movie started with Viola Davis just telling the Washington, D.C. officials, because I kind of like the PowerPoint presentation vibe.
No, that's what it should have been.
And so but like Harley Quinn gets 2 intros, Deadshot gets 3 intros. Remember, it's when he's in his jail cell, the PowerPoint, and then he's showing off his shooting skills. That's like 3. He has 3 character intros.
Yep.
That's the editing. It's just crazy.
It's oh my god. Speaking of individual characters and side characters on that team, and I don't think this is the fault of the movie. I'm gonna say this is probably the fault of the comic books, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway. How the fuck are they gonna name the Australian character Captain Boomerang?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. God.
They couldn't come up with anything better than that.
I mean, he's in like the comic books, right?
I assume so.
So
I mean, at least Captain America gets to be Captain America. He's not like Captain Cheeseburger.
I thought that'd be. He kind of is Captain Cheeseburger if you think about it.
In what way?
Like, because his lines are cheesy sometimes.
You know what? I'll buy it. I'll take it. I'll take it. That is an acceptable answer. You have evidence.
But yeah. So I don't know. I just wish they started with Viola Davis doing the PowerPoint presentation, because that was good to me. I liked that we saw Batman. I didn't like how he punched Harley, though.
Yeah, I didn't care for that. I felt like I didn't know that about the editing, but now that you've said that, that makes sense, because I feel like there were 2 separate introductions, and that was one of the things I was going to say, because there was the one where they introduced all the characters, like where they went to Harley's cell and they went to Deadshot's cell, but then they also had the one with Viola Davis, and it felt like one of those was planned and the other one was planned, but they didn't tell each other what the plan was.
No, there was no communication. Just the beginning is a lot. So then we get to, one of my favorite lines in the movie. And it makes sense. Like, what if Superman ripped off the president's head? Who's going to stop him? I think that's a good motivation to start a Suicide Squad, I guess.
I agree.
Um,
But also, and you know what? I don't like the DC movies, so I have not seen many of them.
mm-hmm.
So perhaps this is because of that, but I feel like the situation in their universe is not dire enough that it requires this level of nonsense.
Yeah, I
Like, this scene is like a Hail Mary, and I feel like they're many, many, many steps away from mass.
yes, I agree. I think I really liked when Viola Davis showed the Enchantress in front of the Washington DC officials, like her hand turned. I thought like that was cool.
I was very intrigued by the character of Enchantress. I don't love Cara Delevingne as an actress.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a little bit flat. I thought she did a fine job in this movie. She doesn't interest me.
I agree. I thought her as the witch at the end was kind of creepy, like when she was all like muddy and stuff.
That, like, when she was like all powerful near the machine,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was like the peak for her. I enjoyed that acting of her the most.
Interesting.
I also feel like her character is pretty problematic because I feel like it's based on like indigenous cultures that are not white. And she is white.
I could see that. I didn't see that really before. Going back to the intros, the intros took forever. We see, okay, El Diablo also gets like 2 intros as well. And we see the footage of him burning up the jail yard twice. And Catie, you know, like I've said this before, I hate when they show the same scene in a movie that we're watching twice. It makes me really, really upset.
It's like, do you think I can't remember something that happened less than 45 minutes ago?
And again, that goes to 2 different people editing the film. Like, I don't know. I wish that someone caught that. We know yeah.
No, like, now that you've told me that, so many of my complaints now make sense.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Mess. Movie. God.
And, okay, so we have, like, all the intros in the beginning, and then the whole, like, thing happens with the Enchantress gets her brother's power, and then they're, like, building a machine, and blah, blah, blah. Did you like that?
I didn't care for it.
Mm-hmm.
One of my problems with this movie is that there were 2 villains, and they seem to give an equal state to both villains. And I feel like either Enchantress or the Joker had to be a B-plot villain. But it was like they were trying to do 2 A-plots at the same time.
Well, Catie, I have something to say to that.
No.
I think the original cut in this movie had the Joker being the main villain.
Yeah, that makes sense for how they advertised it. I was expecting to see so much Jared Leto.
And he's hardly in this film, like, at all.
I knew that, and I did expect to see less of him, but I was still disappointed.
Well, yeah, and it's annoying that he's a villain, and his main, like, thing he had to do was disable an iPhone app. Or just an application?
Yeah.
Like, that's so lame. Like, that's what the Joker is doing in this movie. He's disabling an app. Like, that's why he came into, like, the casino and was like, I don't know. It was just so ridiculous. Like, it's an app. I have to keep reminding myself it's an app.
I feel like we're meant to see that as, like, a grand gesture to try to save Harley. But also, it's a fucking app.
It's like I could have done that.
Also, Harley's like pretty hardcore. I feel like she probably would have just told him to like cut it out.
Yeah, no, for sure. Uh just yeah. So but the original cut of this movie, the Joker was in like most of the movie. And I said like all the scenes with the Joker without like Harley in them seem very awkward and in like a completely different movie, not tied into the main plot at all. We don't even hear him and his team talking about like the Enchantress really at all. You know, I don't know.
Yep.
It was just completely.
And that's another missed opportunity because someone like the Joker is going to hear about that and be like, hey, I want to steal that or get in on it. And like, what a great turn that could have been for the third act of this movie. But they missed that opportunity.
And they instead Instead, they had a huge beam of blue light, like every other action fantasy movie, just a generic ass sky beam.
Like, technology has come so far, especially in these universes that are crazy technological and advanced.
Yeah.
Surely something else could signify that something crazy is going down there.
Yeah, I don't know. But the beginning happened, and then we see Joker do stuff. Okay, Catie, guess how many minutes into the movie? Okay, I'm gonna restart that. So
is this our Fantastic Four bet? How many minutes into the movie till they're all on screen?
Yes.
Okay, Fantastic Four was like what, an hour?
52 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna guess it's gotta be at least 45.
So we're 42 minutes into the movie. It's the first time we see Suicide Squad together. Then, at 46 minutes is the first time the Suicide, they actually talk to each other.
Wait, it takes them 4 minutes to talk to each other?
Yes.
That's like an hour in movie time.
Yes. So, literally, I can't. And then they introduce, like, the app, and I was like, this is way too... No, I don't know. I just...
Like, I got it. Like, there had to be some kind of way to keep them accountable so that they wouldn't just, like, fuck off.
Yeah, but I wish they did it in a cooler way.
No, I agree. Also, how stupid is that one guy?
Oh, Slipknot, who dies randomly? Yeah. Or at the very beginning?
Not random. It's to show us that they will indeed die. But... yeah, it's so stupid.
And they introduce, like, it's funny, like, El Diablo has 2 introductions, Deadshot has 3, Harley has 3, Slipknot has 1, and then he dies right after. I kind of wish they introduced him, maybe, or, like, chose another character to try to escape. I don't know.
They, like, barely said anything about Killer Croc.
Oh my god.
Like, all I know about him is that he lives in a sewer and he's basically an animal.
Yeah,
like, give me some context. How did this happen?
Yeah, that, like, I feel like that's the problem with DC, you know? And I don't... So I love DC's characters. I have a soft spot, and that's why I go to the movies and see these movies, because I like the characters. Like, Aquaman's interesting. The Flash is interesting.
Aquaman is a fun character.
Sorry?
Aquaman is a fun character.
Yeah, and, you know, Marvel, they kind of started out right, like, do an individual movie of each of these characters. So then when, like, Avengers came out, we were losing our minds. Because we know them from separate movies, but if they just assume, like, I feel like WB said, oh, Avengers, they have so many, like, different characters. That's what people want, like, all these superhero characters on screen at once. But no, we like them. We like to get to know these characters, and then we fantasize about how they interact with one another. And, like, that's what was missing. This movie could have been wonderful if we got kind of more of a backstory. If there was, like, a Deadshot movie, I would watch it. Like, Harley Quinn.
I would see a Deadshot movie.
Yeah, like, and that's my little rant. And then we have Katana, who was cool, right?
I loved her. But
And
also, they mention maybe one time in passing that her sword eats your soul. And I was like, haha, I don't think that's because no one confirmed it. No one was like, oh no, yeah, that's true. And then, like, an hour later in the movie, she's like crying, and they're like, yeah, it's because her husband's soul is in there.
exposition.
Yep.
So annoying. And her character was so cool. She was also introduced 50 minutes into the movie.
Of course she was.
Even
because why would we need to meet her in the first act of the movie?
I thought she was really cool, and I kind of wish so like her and Rick Flag, I guess have a friendship. Like I would see that movie if the two of them had an individual movie.
I would not see a movie with Rick Flag in it.
But what if it was Rick Flag and Katana? Because they obviously had some sort of relationship.
I mean, I would see the movie for Katana, but I would bitch about Rick Flag the whole time.
I'm thinking of like a Captain America Winter Soldier type dynamic. Like,
it's gotta be like a buddy comedy situation.
Yeah.
But like serious.
Yes. But Katana was cool, but then like she had nothing to do, so that's great.
I also, like, I know Diablo got multiple introductions, but I feel like they never fully fleshed out his character.
No, and
because, like, clearly he was very, very traumatized by something he did, and it's never addressed.
Well, they have that bar scene where he tells them that he killed his whole family.
Oh, you know what? I did literally forget about that. My bad. Never mind.
Yeah, but I thought his character was interesting, but it was like he was given like really weak dialogue. I don't know.
You know what? I knew his character was gonna die from like the second he interacted with them, because they spent the whole time he was on screen trying to make you really, really sympathetic towards him.
Wait, he died?
So that when he died, doesn't he sacrifice himself?
Girl, I don't know.
Dude, I watched this movie a week ago, and I didn't. Oh god.
Wait, I'm looking this up because this is how great the movie is. We don't even remember someone.
Because, you know, oh my god, there's gonna be a sequel.
Goodbye.
It's coming out next year.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He dies?
Because they put the bomb under the monster thing, and then he, like, burns himself to distract the monster so that they can blow the monster up, and he just, like, is there as well, so he, like, dies as a casualty.
Oh, wow. Well, they didn't even have, like, a good, like, funeral for him, but okay.
Do you throw a funeral for someone immediately after they die? Like, I know you do it really fast, but damn.
No, I mean, like, in the next scene, like, a next day, they could all been like, wow, Diablo was great. Yeah. But that didn't happen at all. Okay, I have another complaint, and it revolves around Harley Quinn's hair continuity.
Okay, yup. Let's dive into the costumes. Here we go. You go first, because I have a lot to say.
So, Harley Quinn's hair is iconic. But 1 minute it's wet, then it's dry, then it's curly, then it's straight, then it's wet, dry, curly, straight, dirty, and tangly, wet, dry, curly, straight. It really bothered me, especially in the last scene. Her hair looks curled, it looks good, like nothing. I don't know. The hair continuity really got me going, because this movie, another like weakness in this movie is that it takes place in a day.
Yep.
So
timeline out a little bit.
Sorry?
Just a little. They could have spread that timeline out a little bit.
But yes, Catie, what do you have to say about the costumes?
Okay, so let's begin with Harley Quinn. I think her costume in this movie is disgusting.
Yeah.
It's so hypersexualized. Like, literally everything they put her in is, like, basically nothing.
Yes.
Her entire character in this movie is basically, like, she is a sexy lamp who sometimes shoots things.
Or, no, hits him with her baseball bat.
That's what I mean.
Harley and her baseball bat. I mean, she was killing them things with a baseball bat.
God.
But I agree with you. Her outfits got a lot better in Birds of Prey.
Okay, so let's talk about the overall aesthetic of this movie. It's like if a Hot Topic and a Spencer's got in like a drunk, like, three-way with a tattoo parlor. It's horrifying. And it's almost like you can feel that they were really, really trying to lean into the marketing so that they could start selling their shit to Hot Topic.
They probably did.
I'm sure they did. Because I remember, like, every emo guy I knew for, like, a really couple of months there was like, I'm Jared Leto. I'm so cool. He was also disgusting in this movie. And not even just his character.
Wait, I didn't hear what you said. Who else is disgusting?
The Joker.
Oh, yes.
And, like, not even just because of his character. Like, I don't understand why they slicked his hair back so much. Like, I feel like they were trying to do a nod to the comic books, which, fine, great. There's so many nods to the comic books. But, like, he has such a high forehead. And they whited out his eyebrows, and that makes his forehead even higher. And it just looks like a gross zombie. Like, I had an uncanny valley moment there.
And he's a good looking guy, like, Jared Leto.
Yeah, when he looks like a human, he's not an ugly person.
Well, Catie, this won an Oscar in 2017.
Yeah, I know, for fucking makeup, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's because they spent all their time putting those tattoos on Jared Leto and Margot Robbie. That was it.
No, so can we talk about the action scenes? Because I don't remember any of them because it was too dark to see anything.
Yeah, that Game of Thrones episode has nothing on this movie. It's so dark.
I don't even know what Game of Thrones episode you're talking about, but yes, all of the action scenes, I wish I could see it, but I couldn't because it was so dark on my screen. And I don't know, the action scenes didn't really, like, highlight any of the characters working together, except for that dumb thing at the end. Also, they destroy Enchantress with a bomb. This girl, she's a witch. She's over 1,000 years old. How the hell?
Girl, she's a witch.
How the hell is a bomb gonna defeat a witch that's 1,000 years old who just made a lightning machine to darken the world?
You know what? We don't question it.
Catie.
We have to suspend our disbelief.
No, Catie. That just really, no, absolutely not. Well, I thought it was cool that El Diablo could turn himself into that thing.
I wanted to see more of that.
And I wish he was the magical one that could destroy the witch. I guess he helped out, but a bomb, okay, she's a witch!
Okay, you want to know how she should have died?
Yes.
They should have killed the big monster with a bomb, and they should have done that much quicker than they did.
Mm-hmm.
Then they should have fought Enchantress and have a fun fight scene, and then it ends with Diablo as that monster thing, just like burning her heart after they've somehow freed Dr. June Moon, which, again, probably from the comics, but what a stupid name.
Yes, I kind of like the name. I was typing that down. I was like, I would have liked to be named June Moon Jut, but that's okay.
I would have made fun of you on the playground.
But, okay. There are two scenes that I hate more than anything.
Okay. I can think of at least one, and I'm really interested to see if we have the same ones. Go.
I have this highlighted. One of the worst moments in the movie. Deadshot looks in a binder.
Oh my god.
That says top secret. Okay. And gets mad that they're fighting a witch after he saw a light beam in the sky and then been fighting faceless monsters with warts on their heads, and he's upset because Rick Flag didn't tell them they were fighting a witch?
Yeah. Because all that other stuff is so normal. Happens all the time in Gotham.
And in that scene where Will Smith discovers the truth, we get a flashback to scenes we already saw 45 minutes ago.
Seems like a good idea at that point into the movie. That far deep in the movie, you have to remind your audience of what they saw just 45 minutes ago.
Like, are you kidding me? He gets upset, like, and the binder says top secret. I'm like, literally. It was just so, like, on the nose, just bad story I was like, why is Will Smith upset? I don't understand why he's mad. Like, what did he think the light was coming from? It had to be from...
that's a science experiment gone wrong. We're going to fix up some kid's chemistry lab.
Yeah.
Like, what else could that have been?
I hate it. Also, okay, so there's a bar scene right after that.
Oh, okay. I do have two scenes that I hate. You go.
So there's the bar scene. And, like, it's so... I wrote this down, like, Rick Flag in the beginning is like, Katana has my back, but then she immediately goes into the bar. Like, like, you didn't even tell Katana what? I don't know. Like, they all feel betrayed for some reason. I didn't get it. But the bar scene, I think, works well. But there is, like, another chunk of the movie I feel like we're missing. And that made the bar scene feel very discombobulated with the story.
I feel like if this movie took place over more than one day, they could have had more moments like that where they worked on the chemistry of the team. Though in that scene, there is the worst line in the entire fucking movie, and it's even worse now that I've seen it. It's when they're talking and Harley is behind the bar and she says, "Normal's just a setting on the dryer." And I knew about this line. I was aware of this line. But the conviction with which she says that line is what makes that line so bad.
I didn't even remember her saying that.
I can't even remember who she's talking to, but they say something and she slams her hand down on the bar and she's like, "Normal's just a setting on the washing machine." And I'm like, damn, girl.
Yeah, I mean, poor dialogue, but I liked when it slowed down and we were getting to know them.
This movie could have done with more of those kinds of moments. I felt like I was never at a place in the movie where I could, like, take a breath because they were just jumping from, like, important plot scene to important plot scene.
Yes, it was all plot, no character development. Kind of like...
Yeah, for sure.
I know you haven't seen the last Star Wars, but that's what the last Star Wars movie was. Just plot jump. And, like, people really liked this movie. And I guess I can kind of see why. No, I can't.
Are you talking about Suicide Squad or Star Wars?
Suicide Squad.
Time out. People unironically enjoyed this movie.
Yes. Another scene I hated... It was supposed to be, we're, like, towards the end now. Like, it was supposed to be a laugh. But when Will Smith, when Deadshot is, like, teaching his daughter math and using, like, guns in his explanations, it was, like, it didn't sit well with me.
I mean, like, I thought it was a cute moment, but also, like, especially in the climate in America right now with, like, school shootings and stuff, that felt really, like, gross.
I don't think that was a smart choice. But I have another thing to say. So weird when it's the very end of the movie, Deadshot is planning to shoot the bomb, and then his daughter is saying, "Don't shoot it, Dad," and then he shoots it.
That was so weird.
It just, like, didn't make sense. Like,
That should have come at a moment where he was gonna shoot a
Yeah,
person, not when he was gonna shoot a bomb.
I don't know how the bomb could match magic, but okay. This movie was just all over the place, and thankfully Catie and I saw a better movie this weekend.
Hell yeah, we did. Hell yeah.
We saw Birds of Prey, and the fantabulous
Okay.
emancipation of Harley Quinn, but now it is just called Harley Quinn Birds of Prey.
A much better title.
Yes. So I have like some tea about the title.
Okay, hit me with that tea.
So I was on Verge.com and I found an article titled Harley Quinn has a better SEO, so Birds of Prey is getting a new name. And it's an article by Julia Alexander. And underneath the title, it says Birds of Prey is now Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. So
okay,
what had happened was DC decided that the original title of the film wasn't, and I quote, search engine friendly. After they saw the weekend box office numbers, they first projected this movie to make $55 million the first weekend, and instead it made $33 million. And the article basically talks about its marketing issues. And the thing is, like, I didn't watch any of the trailers for this. I just knew about it because, like, I'm a nerd, so and I like DC movies, so I just like keep track on when they were released. Did you like see any marketing problems, or did you see any trailers, or how did you know this movie was coming out?
I did not see basically any marketing, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that's strange, right?
Is it?
I don't know.
It's a female-led superhero movie. Is it strange there's no marketing?
Captain America had Wonder Woman had great marketing.
Yeah, but Wonder Woman's a big name.
That's true.
You're not gonna undermarket Wonder Woman.
That's true. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and I'm glad they're changing the name.
Okay, also, like, I know I said this like an hour ago when we were first talking, but I would not see that movie if that's what it would be named, because I would think that movie was so stupid. What? The fantabulous emancipation of Harley Quinn.
I can't.
Who pitched that?
The name, I don't know.
Like, it's like they had a dartboard of like gross girly words and then like feminist words, and they like threw a dart at each of them, and they were like, all right, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, fantabulous, emancipation,
Harley Quinn 2020. Yeah, I like the new title better. It's more focused.
Yeah, it's also much shorter, which movie titles should not be as long as that.
So this movie was directed by Catie Yan, and it stars Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Meredith Elizabeth Winstead as Helena Bertinelli / the Huntress, Journey Smollett-Bell as Dina Lance / Black Canary, Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya, Ella J. Basco as Cassandra Cain, and Ewan McGregor as Roman Sionis / the Black Mask.
I forgot that he was the villain, so when he first showed up, I was like, yes!
And Catie, I have something to say.
Go.
Why does Ewan McGregor look younger in this movie than he did in Attack of the Clones that came out more than 10 years ago?
Oh my god, that's so true. Maybe it's the facial hair. People look older with facial hair.
But why did they do that to Obi-Wan?
You know what? That's fair. They did Obi-Wan dirty.
He looks younger in this movie than he did in like a 2003 movie. So did you like this movie?
I did, actually. I did really enjoy this movie.
You really enjoyed it?
Yeah.
I am so on it.
All right.
It wasn't my favorite movie. I thought it had faults, but I had fun watching it. It was way better than Suicide Squad.
I felt myself returning to our conversation of the Meg where we were talking about like this isn't going to be a good movie. This is going to be like a it's fun to watch
Mm-hmm.
movie. And I feel like this movie kind of sits on the edge of like a just fun to watch movie and kind of leans a little bit more towards like a good like a movie that put effort
Okay.
in.
Yeah. Do you want to start with likes or do you want to start with not my grievances? That's dramatic.
Let's
Yeah.
start likes because we've been talking a lot of
Yeah.
shit.
Girl, we're just spilling the tea. We're just sharing our opinions. Obviously, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was great.
Amazing. I loved her stupid
Her
accent.
accent is just so funny. Well, it's a New York accent.
Here's the thing is she's Australian and I couldn't tell if it was she was actually trying to put on a New York accent or if that's just how she talks as an Australian person doing an American
interesting.
accent.
I don't know. It just works so well with me. She's like, hi. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no. I was just about to say, either way, it works. I was so into it.
She's so fun to just hear talk and hear her. Like, it just, she's such a good actress and she's under 30 years old.
Oh my God. She's going to be like a year older than me and I'm about to get real depressed.
No.
Why can't I click? Oh, because it's.
She turns
above.
30 this year.
Oh my God, she's only 2 years older than me.
But yeah, she was fantastic in this movie. I could watch her talk all day. I could watch her act all day. Just all of her mannerisms. And she's so, like, cute and, like, a fun villain to, like, yeah.
I feel like Margot Robbie is such a good, like, character actress. Like, she really embodies the person that she's acting. And, like, people don't see that a lot with her. I feel like she just all the time, because she's super, super hot, just gets put in those like how she did in Wolf of Wall Street. Like she was basically just there to be his hot wife. And like in Suicide Squad, she was just there to be hot.
But then in I, Tonya, she turned that out. Did you see that?
Yep, that was a great movie. She was dope in that movie. And then here, they were like, hey, you actually act. Let's have a little fun with that. And they took that fun character that she made in Suicide Squad, but then they actually gave her depth.
It was great. She is so talented, and I can't wait to watch her in more movies. I'm excited to see how far she'll go. Like, she's, like, turning 30. I bet there's so many other projects aligned with her. So, like, I hated the beginning of Suicide Squad, but I liked where this movie started off with her breakup of the Joker. And I like the extra aspect that now, since he's not her boyfriend anymore, like all of her protection gets revoked.
Yeah, and again, that makes sense for the universe. And I did like that a big point of this movie was that she needed to like strike out on her own and gain her own independence and stuff.
Yes, because I like knew that her and the Joker's crazy, and like that kind of made the Joker a better character because people are so scared of him. And yeah, I just thought that was interesting for them to add that.
No, and I think like it makes sense because it's not an interesting dynamic between Harley and the Joker if they're both exactly the same. And I feel like Harley is the reflection of the Joker, but who's like human still. Like the Joker's human, but is he though? Like he doesn't feel things the same way normal people do because he's not normal.
And I'm glad. Sorry.
And then like Harley also experiences life differently, but she still also experiences life in similar ways.
I also like that they didn't show the Joker's face. I mean, what face they're going to show, but that was like cool that they had his back turned and you're like, oh yeah, that is the Joker, but we didn't see his face. That was a cool touch.
I feel like Jared Leto I feel like I heard people say he sent like dead rats to people on set because he was trying to be method. And I feel like Margot Robbie was like, we're not having any of that shit on our set.
Absolutely not. What I also loved about this movie is it just looks beautiful. It's so colorful, like the bubblegum pop color scheme. schemes. And my favorite scene in the movie is when Harley is using the beanbag gun and
in the police station.
yes.
I was just about to say that. That's such a beautiful scene.
And I love that she's not using a real gun. It was just refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't care that the police officers weren't fighting back, really. I was just like, I wish that scene went on for 20 minutes. I was so entertained.
I was so mesmerized by like the vibrancy of the colors and the glitter. I could have watched that for another 20 minutes and I would have been thrilled.
It was
with
a
that.
beautifully shot action scene, and I was so impressed with to go off that, I was so impressed with all of the action scenes. They were all so fun to watch. And like, unlike Suicide Squad, it was so dark you couldn't see, but they like included color, and the choreography was just so on point and so crisp. And you felt it just felt so real and just kind of comic booky in a way, but in a good way.
I loved the animation at the beginning. I thought that was dope. And they had a couple moments where they did like how they did in that new Spider-Man movie with like the Miles one where they had like the comic book text in the movie. And I love that. I think one of my big issues with DC, and one of the reasons I don't like it as much, is that the tone of DC, I feel like, is much more serious than the tone of Marvel. And I can be fine with that, but I feel like I need more humor for me to enjoy it. And I felt like this movie for me was a good balance of that like serious universe, but also they're just like in it and they're having a good time. This felt like normal people existing in that universe. And I loved it.
So a lot of the comedy actually didn't land with me that well. Like, I love Harley talking, and I was like smiling. I was visibly smiling because it was cute. Her and Cassandra Cain, I thought, were very cute. But I wasn't laughing that hard. Like, with the joke with the sandwich, I was just like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was bad.
And I think the hardest I laughed is like in the beginning, just like Ewan McGregor was so crazy. And he said some like funny lines that were just so over the top, and I was laughing really hard. But yeah, a lot of the jokes just kind of like fell flat for me. I laughed really hard at the Huntress. I thought that she was really awkward. Sorry?
Oh my god, do you know who that is?
No.
Do you know Scott Pilgrim?
No.
That movie?
I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, she's Ramona. She's the love interest from that movie. The one with like the funky colored hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
She looks familiar.
I was super into her character. I thought she was great.
Yeah, I thought she was awkward and funny. And so you like the animation, and I didn't really like the animation in the beginning because it kind of threw me off. I just wish I could have seen like Harley Quinn narrating about her life, like walking down the street. And it made the movie seem more juvenile, even though I knew it was rated R.
I liked that. I mean, like, I feel like the movie had a pretty juvenile tone. And at points, I totally agree. It was like, all right, you're rated R. Get over yourself. I feel like because she's got such a fucked up brain, like, part of her developmentally is, like, stuck in a childish area. So I feel like it makes sense for her as a character to have those silly things. But also, one thing I fucking loved that this movie did is it remembered that Harley Quinn has multiple PhDs. They, like, brought that up at least twice, and then she made a joke about it in that final fight scene.
I like that, too.
Yeah, a bitch went to college. Put some respect on that name.
Yeah, I don't know. I just loved Harley Quinn lore. Like, that scene was good for Harley Quinn lore, but the cartoon kind of just threw me off a bit. I think my favorite character was the Huntress and her backstory. It felt this plot is extremely simple, and like I didn't think it was that creative. Like, a bad guy wants a diamond to get money, but I thought that her character fit really well within the plot. And I was like, okay, like, the plot is kind of boring, but I'm glad that the Huntress is connected in a believable way.
Yeah, I guess I see that.
And my favorite moment with the Huntress is when she gives the toy car to Cassandra Cain, because that's the last thing her brother gave to her before her whole family was murdered. And really she was precious. Like, you don't need to see this. I think that was a really good character moment for her, and I was like, give her a solo movie next.
I would watch a solo movie of her. That would be like that's like a better Batman origin story. Your whole family was
like, I wanted to I was like, her training her whole life, like that, it was just so interesting. Yeah. I just thought she just fit well, and I'm glad they introduced her when they did.
I like the part where she flips out when they call her the crossbow killer, and she's like, I'm Huntress. That was funny. When she's in the mirror, she's like, you're probably wondering who I am, or something. She was just, her comedic timing in that movie was probably one of the strongest.
No, she was good. Dina as Black Canary, also a really badass character. I really enjoyed that we didn't see her superpower until the end.
I mean, I already knew what her superpower was. So
I was like,
I mean, they foreshadow it in the club where she sings that high note and she shatters the glass. I thought that
she was just good at singing.
Fair enough.
But I got chills when that happened, and people are saying, I heard someone say, like, why didn't she use that voice before? Or
I was just about to put that up, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
I think, like, I'm sorry, but people kind of hide their superpowers and don't use them until it's absolutely necessary. So I feel like she just didn't want to be exposed that she had that type of power, so she kind of kept it in the backseat, because she's a really good fighter.
That's true. I mean, I think she did fine without it. Like, I don't think there was a scene where I was like, damn, they would have won if she was there. I do sometimes in those situations. Like, I thought this with Diablo in Suicide Squad. Like, I get it. You're traumatized, but you could end this so much faster if you used your power.
One of my favorite fight scenes is with Dina. Like, it's really short, but it's outside. It takes place outside. It's clear as day. And she's, like, fighting those two men who are trying to take Harley away. That choreography was, like, on point.
I felt like the fight choreography in this had a very, like, dance aspect to it.
It was very...
Like, you could tell they were all very choreographed, but I wasn't super mad at it.
And it looked good, and the shots were good. It was just good camera work. The, like, punches or whatever went with the music. It was just, it's good. It was good. And it was light, so you could see.
Damn. What a request, being able to see a scene in a movie.
How did you like Ewan McGregor as Black Mask?
Honestly, I could give or take him. Like, I didn't think he was that bad, but I felt he was a little, like, forgettable. Like, every time, like, I wasn't threatened by him as a villain. It, like you said, it's a very simple plot, and basically to his character, I was like, it just felt like, oh no, he could hurt us. Like, there was never a point where I was like, damn, they're gonna die.
Yeah, there are a few moments, I, like, hated him, but there are a few moments where I actually laughed out loud at some of his dialogue. Did he get blown up at the end?
I can't remember, to be honest. I feel like maybe...
I saw, but didn't, but I was like, okay, he's gone?
I really had to pee at that point, and I was really just like, this movie needs to be over so I can pee.
I enjoy that the final battle scene took place at the carnival.
I
think carnivals are both creepy and fun, and, like, in The Sandlot, they go to the carnival and it's like a fun scene, but in Us, that horror movie directed by Jordan Peele, the carnival's creepy, but this scene was both creepy and fun.
Yeah.
With all the colors and the fun houses, like, that's like Harley Quinn's, was that her hideout?
Yeah.
That was interesting too, that she was like, "Ooh, my costumes!" And then all the guns are gone, but then they find a trunk and they don't really reveal what's in the trunk. But yeah, that was,
I love her like bulletproof bustier.
yeah.
Like
And
that's a woman outfit.
sorry?
No, you go. Sorry, I was talking to
Oh no, I
myself.
just thought the last scene was enjoyable. It was great seeing them fight all together. I was glad because kind of unlike Suicide Squad, like they don't really have any chemistry with each other. But like from the minute they all are started talking, I'm like, I can see how this team would work together well. And then there's the scene of them in the
Mhm.
diner and they're having dialogue and it seems like natural. And I'm glad that these four women had such chemistry with one another, even though they fight. We only see like 20 minutes of them all together and then the rest of the movie they're kind of
Yeah.
separated, which was one of my complaints. You know, I don't know, these characters are fun. Like Dina's so fun, the Huntress. Like I want to see their backstories first and then we can put them all together. I feel like if we got that, I feel like if this was a movie just about Harley Quinn, that would be fine, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It felt a little weird to use this as a movie for her character development, but also to set up this
Yeah, and
team.
there is a point in the movie where we don't see Harley Quinn for at least 15 minutes. And
Yeah.
it's her movie. We should see her like in all the time. So I kind of just wish it was more, she was in the movie more and the story kind of revolved around her more. We just saw Little Women, correct?
Yep.
I don't want to compare this movie to it, but I am. I
Go
wish the
for it.
story was told in order. Like, I know the back and
Mm.
forth was probably chosen because, you know, what you said before, like Harley Quinn's mind is kind of all over the place. And I get that. But I,
Oh no. I also found it
yeah, I
annoying.
just thought it would have been a stronger movie if it was just all chronological. Like, you start chronologically with that cartoon and then it can just move into the plot of the movie. But I really didn't like the cuts. It was kind of weird and I don't know. I didn't like the flashbacks.
You know what I hated even more than that was how they did
Mm.
it. They do like a freeze frame and she'd be like, oops, gotta back up there a minute. Let me take you back to the beginning. And she'd go on this like completely unrelated story that took way too much exposition to tell. And then she went back to the scene. And like by the time they had finished giving me the context for Huntress's family, I had completely forgotten why we cared about them to
Yeah.
begin with.
Just tell it linearly. Like this movie could have been done chronological.
There's no reason they
Yeah.
needed to do that.
It was confusing for me. And then Cassandra Cain and Margot Robbie's relationship, I could tell they both had chemistry with each other. I like their banter, but I wish, like, we see Cassandra Cain at the roller derby at the beginning of the movie. I kind of wish their relationship started earlier.
It should
That's
have.
what made Harley realize she needed to be a better person was this kid. And like, if like all she did with the kid was they go shopping and then they eat cereal and then I don't know. I thought the dialogue that they were given was good, but they needed more time.
I agree. It also took them way too long between the scene where she sees her at the roller derby and then she like picks that guy's pocket to when she actually brings it up to Harley. Like, I want to say maybe at least 30 minutes later. And it's like well within their time.
Yeah, they
together.
needed introduced her earlier and done chronologically. I think it would have been a better choice. I love the woman who plays the cop, Renee Montoya. I love her in other things, but I don't think they wrote her character that well.
I did not care for her.
I was just so bored every time she was on screen. I like the story was just not there for me with her character at all. Like I completely forgot about her. And I think that her story is interesting. Like she works at a precinct and she didn't get promoted and she's struggling with that. And then she finds these two like these ladies who have her back. Like, I think that's interesting. Like, a police officer leaving a precinct to start her own division with crime fighting superheroes. Like, that's cool, but I don't think it was told that well in this movie.
Yeah.
Did you like the callbacks to Suicide Squad? Because I didn't.
I mean, I could have done with or without them. I didn't care enough to be like, oh, cool, that was Harley's shirt. Or like, I did find it annoying that they reused some of the footage.
Yeah, that was weird.
There were at least 2 times that they reused some of the footage from the club from Suicide Squad where she's basically just a prop dancing in a glass box.
Like, even though it's from 2 different movies, like, just no. You know, okay, I have something really good to say.
Okay.
DC has done this once, where they show a scene from a previous movie, but from a different perspective, and it worked.
I enjoy that.
But it was just the exact same shots.
You could probably.
And then we see Captain Boomerang's wanted poster, and she goes, "I know him," and I was like, "Stop." Yeah. Have you seen Shazam? Shazam, I like that movie. I think this movie goes into the good DC movie categories, but I still liked Shazam and Wonder Woman a little bit more. Like, you gotta make movies with the characters first, and then you can do an ensemble movie. And then you'll probably make a lot more money.
I loved the costumes in this movie.
Good.
I loved Black Canary's like 70s disco pants and like how she had that kind of vibe. I liked how Huntress was like so like intense and she like only wore black, but then she had that cool eyeliner for the last scene.
Yeah, that was cool.
I loved that jacket that Harley wore that was like shredded up caution signs. Her hair was so much better in this movie.
The continuity. I was watching those pigtails, Katie.
Girl, they didn't move.
I was like, please. No.
I also found myself noticing that she had a perfect red lip in every single scene. Whoever her makeup artist is deserves a raise because that lip was
so flawless. Like, we notice these things, producers and directors. We noticed the pigtails. We noticed.
We did.
Do you have anything else to say, Katie?
I was just very relieved watching this movie.
I wasn't nervous.
Like, there's something about watching a movie that has a female cast that's directed and produced by a woman that's just so much more relatable than watching something like Suicide Squad, which is made by a bunch of dude bros. I could have known these girls on the street. I know people who are just like that, just like less amplified and obviously not crazy.
That's very nice. Am I one of those girls? You don't have to answer that. Okay.
I don't think so.
LOL. Yeah, well, thank you everyone for listening.